Oh, hello there. Welcome back. Yeah, it's been a minute again, I know. If any of you guys care, I'm sorry. If not, then I suppose we're all good. Today, I have one word that is the topic of this video, and that is the extent of which I've planned. I hope you're okay with that. If you're someone that likes more structure and doesn't want to waste your time listening to me ramble, you might want to leave. If not, stick around, let's talk. The thing I want to talk about today is faith. But it's probably not the faith that you're thinking of. I'm not a religious person, although I have become somewhat of a spiritual person. I don't know where you draw the line and what the difference is for you, but for me, spirituality just, I guess, means an emphasis on connecting with the rest of the world outside of myself and kind of just getting out of my own head and trying to connect with either, be it nature, other people, anything, reality, awareness, all that kind of stuff. And when I say faith, I'm not implying that you should have faith, or I don't necessarily have faith in some kind of God that we can name or point at and say, I believe in this creature or thing, whatever you want to call it, spirit, essence. The faith that I'm talking about is much more just tangible, hands-on, day-to-day life. And it's the faith that everything is going to be okay. If you're anything like me, I didn't used to be like this, but I am now. If you dig into your awareness and you really listen to what's going on in your head and kind of what's generating some of the anxiety you might have or the fears you might have, at least in my case, you realize that a lot of it is driven by a fear of the future. Specifically a fear that I'm not going to get what I want, or that I'm going to somehow fail at life. And it's even more extreme for me, I think, because I've taken on such this mentality and this mindset of I'm an entrepreneur. I am a business owner. I am someone who's going to go and do big things in the world. I'm going to be incredibly successful, whatever that means. And I've put all this pressure on myself to the point where, to me personally, going and graduating college and getting a job is like the epitome of failure, just to me. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing. That's probably a very unhealthy thing. And it's putting a lot of pressure on myself to perform in the meantime. And I have very high standards. And that can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. So for me, when I say that having faith is important, I'm really meaning that just to have faith that whatever happens in the future, even if I have these big business goals and I have these big dreams of what I want to do and who I'm going to be and everything else, to have faith that even if that doesn't happen, and even if I have to just go get a job or life doesn't work out exactly the way that I have convinced myself up in my head logically that's going to make me happy, right? I've come up with this idea for what the future of my life needs to be for me to be happy. And if it's not that, if it's not going and starting this business and doing X amount of profit every single month and living this lifestyle that I've set up for myself, if it's not that, then I've convinced myself that I'm going to be miserable. Which of course is completely ridiculous, because if there's anything that I've learned from my venture into spirituality, or whatever you want to call it, is that we are much more responsible for our own happiness than our external circumstances. There's no reason that if I fail at a business and I have to go get a job, that means I have to be miserable. That's stupid. I know that I'm capable of being a happy person almost no matter what situation I'm in. I haven't been in all situations, so I can't say no matter what, but I've been in some crappy situations, and throughout my life, I've always been a pretty happy guy. So there's no logical reason for me to fear this failure in the future of, if I need to make this thing happen, I need to start this business, and I need to do this, and I need to do that, otherwise I'm going to be a failure and I'm going to be miserable. You don't realize that these are the things going on in your head until you sit and meditate or just become aware of your thoughts, and you actually realize, oh crap, that's what I think. And actually journaling is probably the best thing for this, or doing what I've done recently is like voice recording memos as a journal, just kind of what I'm doing here, except private because I don't want to share everything on YouTube, but just talking or writing and actually finding out what it is that you think. We think that we know what's going on in our heads. Like, oh yeah, I got everything under control. I know what I think. But I think that the process of actually writing or speaking and forcing yourself to put into words exactly what you're feeling, because a lot of what goes on in our heads that we think is thinking is really just feeling and images and thought and very vague things. So to put it into tangible terms, you have to actually speak it or write it. And once you do that, you see this out on the page, and it's happened to me so many times, where I write out this thing, and you just have to be super open and super just flow of consciousness. Don't try to edit it in your mind. Just get it out. Whatever comes naturally for you to write, just get it out, stream of consciousness, and then you'll look at it and you'll go, holy crap, that's what I think? That's freaking dumb. That's so irrational and amazing that that's what is going on in my mind. That's what I've convinced myself of, and I wasn't even aware of it. Until you write it down or you say it out loud, you're not even aware of most of the things that you believe. So I began to realize, and this was a while ago, probably almost a year ago now, that I realized that I had this extreme fear of failure. And I equated that failure actually with death. Those things were equal in my mind. And I did not expect that, because I always figured, I'm a pretty chill guy. I don't put a whole lot of pressure on myself, take things pretty easily, all that. But no, I was so afraid, and I am still so afraid on a subconscious level of failing, because I've equated it with death. I've equated going and having to get a job that's probably going to be, if I do, graduate from college, good business school, have all this experience, I know rationally that I can get, by a lot of metrics, a pretty good job. And a lot of people would be very happy with that. But for me, no. I've equated that with death. It's so hilarious to realize that these are the things you're thinking. And it's mind-blowing. So this has become one of the primary focuses of my life right now, is this emphasis on faith. And faith just meaning convincing myself and accepting and just saying, it's gonna be all right. Even if you have to go do this boring job or whatever it is you're afraid of. There's no freedom and no room to grow and crappy boss or whatever you're afraid of. Even if that, worst case scenario, you're gonna be okay. And that's a really hard message for me to get for some reason. I don't know why, but it is. So if you're anything like me and you put some good pressure on yourself to go and perform, and you're ambitious and you have big goals and big dreams and all this kind of stuff, ask yourself if you have some kind of analog to what I'm talking about. What are you afraid of? What are you running from? Because a lot of the times, this is what I've realized, is we think that we are running towards something, but we're actually running away from something. I've thought that I am running towards success and happiness and a good life, but actually I'm running away from a fear of failure and a fear of death and mortality. And I would imagine that that's not uncommon. I've heard other people talk about similar things, and I don't think I'm that much of a weirdo, so I gotta imagine that there are some people that share a similar thing. So think about it yourself. What are you running away from? What is that thing in your mind that is unconsciously driving your behavior? Because there's something in there, trust me. I didn't think there was in mine. I thought I had it all pretty good under control. I had some assistance from a certain plant, and that showed me that it was not the case. So it's worth investigating. It's just journaling, or what I've really enjoyed is just pulling out a microphone and just talking. It's like a verbal journal, oral journal, whatever the term is. And some crazy stuff will come up, I'm sure. And you'll be like, that's what I think? Holy crap. Yeah. It's a good time. Anyways, that is pretty much everything I wanted to say. Faith. Just believe that it's going to be okay, because chances are you're not going to die. If I have to go get a job, I'm not going to die. If you have to go face whatever it is you're afraid of, as long as it's not actually death, you're not going to die. And chances are it's not death, because we live in a developed country and it's pretty hard for us to die. Unless we get sick or whatever. But you get my point. All right. That is it. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry it's been a minute if you've been waiting on this, but I just forgot and then, didn't do it. But then this morning I just had a burst of ambition, and I was like, I'm going to do a video again. So here I am. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't turn on notifications. Turn off all your notifications, please. So much nicer. I could never go back to having notifications on. People will give you crap for it. I get crap from all my friends all the time. Can't even get a hold of you, man. I can't text you. You don't respond. Why do you even have a phone? Trust me, it's worth it. It's worth every second. But if you do like this kind of content, then I guess you can subscribe and you can like the video and all that jazzy stuff. And until next time, take care, everybody.